Hi there, and welcome to the delight of photography, continuing with how to really enjoy your photography. And this is talk two, where we're going to be discussing how you start to develop your creativity. If you've just joined, please make sure that you tick the subscribe button to make sure that you be able to copy or listen to all the images and all the broadcasts that we actually do. So we're starting off with enjoy your photography and get more out of life. How are we going to talk a bit about creativity? Creating images that express what we see, feel, and experience in the world around us. That's what we're trying to do, and that is our aim. And it's all about stimulating our own creativity. And we all have creativity. We all have our own individual creativity. You ask lots of people or talk to people, me creative? No, I'm not creative. I'm not creative at all. No, I'm not. And of course they are, because we all have our own individual sense of creativity. Sometimes we've just got to play around and see how we actually delve into that. But we've all got it. And that's what we want to talk about it. If we talk about John O'Donnell, who said the human gaze is not the closed, fixed view of a camera, but is creative and constructive, because you're looking at things through your eyes, not through the camera. And then your challenge is how do you capture what you've seen through your camera? And we'll talk about that in more detail later. But each of us is responsible for how we see, and how we see determines what we see. Sounds corny, but if you think about it, it makes an awful lot of sense if you're talking creativity. So enjoy your photography and enjoy the creative freedom of digital, which means every time you press the shutter button, it's not going to cost you money. You can take as many images as you like. But remember, this approach, taking hundreds of images, is actually a waste of time because you never get a look at them. And you should remember each time, before you push the shutter button, just ask yourself, why am I taking this image? What am I trying to achieve? So what we've got in this particular talk is an introduction and a sowing of the seed about photography. And we're going to show you all the different doors of photography through which you can walk, and you decide which door is going to suit you the best. Decide which doors, and then you can keep moving on in your photography, and you want to find your own individual space as to where you want to be with your photography. We each are individual creative beings, and we each want to find our own space. You can look at other people's space and decide, well, I'd like to do that. But at the end of the day, you want to create your own space and follow your own path through photography. It's a corny picture, but it serves its purpose. It's walking along the wild coast in South Africa. And what's the difference between digital photography and photography what was? Film finally got the role developed. Let's see, there's some shots of my graduation, a few of me riding a bike for the first time, and there's mom taking me home after I was born. Because in those days, people bought a film, they put it in the camera, and it might have lasted for a year, 2 years before somebody decided to get it finished and developed to see what was on the film. Whereas digital, who wants to see 83 pictures of my lunch? And that really tends to show the difference between the two. And there's a physical difference, of course, because you take this and you replace it with this, which means from a convenience perspective, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. But remember the capability of being able to mindlessly produce images of an acceptable quality. You must decide what type of images you want to take, and you must decide how you're going to use your camera. But I repeat my earlier comment. Each time you press the shutter button, just ask yourself, why am I taking this image? What am I trying to do? You don't want to just blindly I mean, you can, it's your camera, it's your creativity, but you'll do much better, take much better photographs if you take care. Ansel Adams, one of the doyens of landscape photography, said, sheer ease with which we can produce a superficial image often leads to creative disaster. And today, photography is a global cacophony of freeze frames. Millions of pictures are uploaded every minute. Many of us have cameras and phones. We are linked into Google, and it just uploads the images automatically as we take them. And we need to remember that where they're going, to take the time to have a look at them at some stage. But we want to have the effort and the enjoyment of adding our own creativity, with the wonderful benefit of the digital dividend. And to me, the digital dividend, as you mentioned earlier, is the fact that you can give free rein to your creativity, take all sorts of different images. Many of them will not work, and don't show this to anybody, but some of them will work. But have fun. It adds to the creative enjoyment of your camera or your phone, whatever you're using. The fact that you're shooting digital is phenomenal, because now you can take images that you would experiment with, different types of things you try to take, blurred pictures, sometimes they really work. This is a selfie of me in the shower. I just happen to look at it and, oh, that's interesting. I can see a reflection. Oh, I'd say it's a great picture. It's a fun picture. And of course, you can do panoramas easily if you're using digital. But you want to take images that are your images that you feel good about. This is a pudding bowl scraped out by kids, for example. Luggage trolleys at an airport. You just see it and that just appeals to you. So you take the image. Reflections in a building. You like the color, you take it. I term this the invasion from outer space, because you can see the horizon on the left and you see the lights of the city and you can see the trails of the spaceships coming in to attack. In actual fact, it's the screen of my wife's tablet that was lying on the kitchen table, and a ray of sun just happened to catch it and gave this effect. So you take the picture. This is the reflection of trees in a swimming pool. And most of you know that if you take a slow exposure and you move the camera as you are exposing, you'll get light stripes. And that can be quite creative. And that's where digital comes into play as well, because you've got this image and you look at it and you think, what would like if I try to do something here? So you experiment. That's where you have a zoom lens, and during a longish exposure, you move the zoom lens out and you get the stripes. So being digital, you can see straight away, oh yes, that's not what I want though. That's not quite what I was trying for. Oh yes, that's absolutely the kind of effect. If you weren't using digital, it would take weeks to do this. But because you're using digital, you can experiment, have fun, just take pictures, different pictures. This is a glove on the bridge in San Francisco. Just, it's got a story. Take pictures of graffiti. Graffiti is amazing. There's so much that you can actually see. This is a pool table. How do you take a picture of a pool table in a slightly different way? Experiment. This is a glass vase and you're playing with a laser. Just fun and experiment and enjoy what you're actually doing with your photography. And that's part of the digital dividend, that you can take all these images and you can play around with them. But as I said before, remember to delete the stuff that doesn't work. But if you have no mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. And there's a selfie hug. I mean, just interesting, interesting. So think about how you do things with your camera. Think about what you would like and experiment. The camera is your friend, and you will learn all about your camera as we go through this course. And experiment with it, push all the buttons and Basically, have fun. That's why you're into photography, is to have fun. So we look forward to seeing you at Talk 3. Take care. Cheers. It's enhance is the Talk 3. So let's keep moving. Sorry about that. And Talk 3 is going to be enhance. Once again, remember to click on subscribe so you can keep track of the talks. But we look forward to talking to you and seeing you in enhance. Take care.